Now, UN agencies are warning of COVID-19's effect on Zimbabwe's hunger crisis. Millions of people are going to bed without food as the pandemic takes its toll on the troubled economy. A report by UNICEF, the World Food Programme, and the Food and Agriculture Organization says Zimbabwe has one of the world's worst food crises. To discuss this, I'm joined by Mathieu Joyeux, the Nutritional Manager for UNICEF Zimbabwe. Mathieu, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. So how many millions of people are in need of food in Zimbabwe?
Thank you for having me. Right now, as we talk, numbers are still increasing, but about 7.7 million people are food insecure and in need of immediate humanitarian assistance. So it's quite a dire situation, something that we've not seen within the last decade. So probably one of the worst humanitarian situations that Zimbabwe is facing right now.
And of course, Zimbabwe was in trouble even before the COVID-19 pandemic. Things have worsened, of course, because of what's happening. What is that government not doing to get things right?
Well, as UNICEF, I can't quite comment about what the government cannot do or didn't do right. What I can maybe recall for some of your viewers is that last year we were hit in Zimbabwe quite hard by a cyclone, the cyclone Hidai that hit part of the eastern part of Zimbabwe. And then on the top of that, we had a very bad drought and very bad harvest last year, which has now its effect on this year. In addition to that, indeed, we have also some macroeconomic crisis, which is characterized by a very high increase on inflation on some of the basic food commodities. So I will say, as development partners, as UNICEF working for children, with our government partners and civil societies, we are all really mobilized for responding to that crisis. Again, a crisis that we've not seen on that scale for at least a decade.
So given the scale of this crisis, Mathieu, is enough aid, food aid in particular, getting into Zimbabwe? Okay,
so on the nutrition side, the food aid is one element of the humanitarian response. And on the nutrition side specifically, the one that UNICEF is responding to, we have about 1.1 million young children that are in need of nutrition response. Out of that, we have about 995,000, those are big numbers, 95,000 young children that are malnourished. And we know that if we don't do anything right now for those children, they will simply die. Those are life-saving activities that we need to put in place. Together with the World Food Programme, we are also working flat out to really get that food assistance and targeting food as well for the most vulnerable segment of the population, being young children and pregnant and lactating women. Of course, the needs are massive. Over 5 million people need food assistance. Over 1 million people need nutritional supports. And right now, our funding doesn't look very good. We are only 20% funded as UNICEF to respond to our the nutrition crisis. We will need 18 million US dollars right now to respond, and we have about 20% of that, 3 million only. So there is a clear deficit in our capacity right now to scale up the humanitarian response. I will say across the board, but specifically as far as UNICEF is concerned, for nutrition, health, water and sanitation, and child protection.
All right, thank you so much for your input. We appreciate it. That is Mathieu Joyeux. He's the Nutritional Manager for UNICEF Zimbabwe.